Hello, good evening, and welcome to Garbler Games in a slightly different difference from the difference. There you go, see, consummate professionalism, like I promised. In a slightly different twist to our planned Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game. Unfortunately, Jim wasn't able to sort that tonight, so we frantically cobbled together a last minute Blades in the Dark game. Luckily, Josh is an expert at Blades in the Dark and is going to teach the rest of us how to play it properly, except Aaron, who is a mentor and has memorized all the rules. So without further ado, over to Josh.
Hello. First of all, major thanks to everyone here. These guys have had less than 2 hours notice and managed to make interesting characters, and some of us are learning for the first time, so that's a huge thing. Congrats. But yes, we are playing Blades in the Dark. I'm going to go around and introduce people, and they can tell you a little bit about their character. They're going to tell you their name, what type of criminal they are, which means what they're good at, and then a buddy they have and an enemy they've made and why. So who would like to start? In fact, I'm going to be a teacher and I'm going to decide. Ben, we're going to go with you because you're the first under me on the screen.
Okie dokie, I am playing Rufus Yeager, aka Grim, who is has a pockmarked face like Bryan Adams. Wears a long military coat with a great big thick woolen hood, ex-military fatigues, partly because he has a military background. He was once a forward scout in the military, and he is a hound, which makes him a hunter. He's Akarosi in origin and is particularly good at sneaking around and spotting stuff and tracking things down. His friend is a bounty hunter by the name of Castor. They're ex-military buddies together. And his enemy is a spy by the name of Valeris, who's really peed off that this basic grunt somehow manages to always be in the perfect vantage point where the spy wishes he could be. His vice is that in his downtime, he likes to hit the fighting pits and get punched into unconsciousness.
I mean, who among us can say that we don't like to hit the fighting pits after a hard day at the office?
He's a full-on Fight Club fan.
Excellent. Right, we'll move on to Leon. Leon, who are you playing tonight?
Let me just unmute myself so everyone can hear me. I'm playing Bertie Crackle, who is a leech, and they're like a tinkerer, saboteur, techie type person. Is a little shorter than average, messy black hair, wears smoked glasses, if that's a thing in this setting. Yep. And his friend is, sorry, I've got too many windows open because I'm also producing tonight. And his friend is Stasia, the apothecary. They've just collaborated a lot on different bits and things and adding more boom and sparks to the mechanics that Cogs works on. And enemy is Eckhard, who is a corpse thief who just let him down sometime, and so I rigged up a false coffin to trap him like a mousetrap one night when he went digging for what he thought was a fresh corpse, but was actually just a trap.
Sort of like an analog mimic.
Yes.
Excellent. Amazing. What a great character. So we'll move over to Aaron. Aaron, could you tell us a little bit about your character, please?
Absolutely. Jacker Dowd, or better known as Jackdaw, was orphaned in Duskfall. A Tycherosi by heritage. He grew up in the underworld, first working in child gangs and then advancing as he figured out that he was actually pretty good at breaking into places. He's got dusky skin with a mop of black hair and red eyes, and his shadow never is cast on the ground. It swirls around his body at his control and often finds itself settled over his face while he's working. His vice purveyor is the hooded proprietor, who allows him to break into the seams between the worlds, because if he's not breaking into some place he's not supposed to be, he's not really very happy. Which brings us to his enemy, Frake, a locksmith. And Jackdaw has defeated all of his locks to date. And Frakes would love to see him put in the ground, if not put behind bars. However, he does have a friend, Petra. She works in the city clerk's office, an occasional drinking buddy and possible love interest. She every once in a while slides pieces of information Jackdaw's way to help him in his heists.
Excellent. Well, I like the bit between yourself and Frake. You were saying there's maybe you leave a calling card for his benefit?
Absolutely. So at all of his heists, Jackdaw has these brass pennies that he's re-stamped with the symbol of a rook on both sides, and he leaves one conspicuously at each of our heists, particularly where Frake's locks are involved, so Frake can know who bested him.
I mean, that's not going to bite you at all when you go to court.
Never.
We found 700 of these.
What? No,
Excellent.
it's not me.
There-
Someone
there's-
stole 700.
That's
of
clearly a
those coins.
magpie. Yeah, so over to Nye. Nye, could you please tell us who you're playing tonight?
I'm playing Delvin Schmelvin because I forgot I needed a last name, and you know what? Go with what works. He is a slide, which means that he's like a spy, espionage, smooth talker kind of character. He okay, oh, I need to remember all the stuff I put down. So he has a friend by the name of Clyra, who's a tavern owner, because taverns are good places to get information and just smooth talk people and all that kind of stuff. However, he has an enemy by the name of Harker, because Harker was just a normal dude, and Delvin was like, oh no, I'm not the guy you're looking for, it's that guy over there. And now Harker's like, well, thanks, I did nothing to you. They look kind of similar.
Archer suddenly found he had pockets full of pennies. Grows on
It's just cheaper to get them by the thousand, okay?
Yeah, and his vice is weird. He likes to go and take meticulous notes of grotesques on the churches. Just because he thinks it's really, he's the only person that does this. Not even the people that own the churches actually like give a shit. They're like, oh yeah, it looks kind of like a bird. I don't know, they're just there, man. Like, yeah.
That is so good. I just walked past the other day in Dublin. The Royal College of Surgeons used to be the Natural History Museum.
Mhm.
And they have a grotesque of two rats playing the guitar. And I only noticed it the other day, and it's made my weeks.
I the story I always tell is that I graduated in the I think it's an abbey, or it's a place of worship, where they have the alien for a grotesque.
Oh,
in
yes,
Paisley.
yes.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
I remember going past it. I was like, that's okay. That's a xenomorph. Why is that there of all places? Just it is.
Great. So we'll get right at it, because I don't want to keep anyone longer than they need to be here. And the beauty of Blades is it's snappy. You four are sitting looking conspicuous in a conspicuous tavern. It's actually your friend's tavern.
Oh, cool.
And you're sitting at a table. You know, you're in Coleridge. It's a rather dusty working class environment, and you're waiting on your marks to come in, your patrons. You know these two people have a job for you. And in walk the two least conspicuous people, doing their very best to look conspicuous. They have they are two, you can tell straight away, high-born people dressing like what they think poor people look like. Down to one of them has taken coal and smudged it on his face, but it's actually eyeliner. It's very clearly darker than soot. And they come in and they kind of scan the bar, and there's a deep silence settles in this drinking establishment. They're looking around.
Hello there, obviously poor people. You have joined us. He's like, yes, join the poor people here. Yes.
Oh, hello, brothers in arms. And they kind of stomp over, and one of them sits down and goes, an ale, please. To you, not the barkeep at all, just across the table to yourself. Hi, to Delvin.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll go order one. That's what. Yeah.
Master Delvin, you go ahead and stay with our friends. I'll get ales for the table.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Of course. Yes. Rah, 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 rah. And they kind of sit down and go, oh, we are having a blast. We've been to 3 establishments. You are the... and he slides a penny across the table with a crow on it and looks kind of like dodgily around.
Yeah, that's us.
Oh, I love it. For cloak and dagger. Well, I am Georges, and this is Jacques.
No names. No names.
Oh, I am Benjamin, and this is Blenjamin. And they'll go, yeah. Well, you see, as you know, Gratitude's coming up in a couple of days, and we have this kind of yearly thing. We have a bet between us every year, and this year our wager, well, it's gotten a little out of hand, and I think we need the help of some professionals, if you know what we mean.
Okay, yeah, we're all ears. Yeah.
Well, this year, the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh will, of course, be coming down the street on their float and yada yada. But this year, they're doing something a little special. They're bringing out the Iron Lung.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what the Iron Lung is?
Well, I mean, of course I do, but I'm wondering if you know what it is, because how is this arrangement going to work? If you, see,
Yes.
brains.
Well, as I, Georges, Benjamin, understand it, the Iron Lung is a set of lungs that are still breathing, despite being completely detached from the body, and there are no ghosts involved. It is a miracle. But however, Jacques here thinks they're electrical. And I have wagered, with Blenjamin here, I have made a wager that it is a miracle. But Blenjamin thinks they're electrical.
Oh, okay.
I think you can see what we need.
I mean, of course, yeah. And in his head, he's like, he's just like, yeah, you need to be robbed. He obviously doesn't say it out loud. He's like,
You're looking for
been.
some experts to help you procure this Iron Lung and check.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we can put it back. It's just a wager. It's not theft.
Obviously, no, not theft.
yeah.
Nobody would be stealing.
And they both kind of continue to make that noise for way too long until everyone in the pub is like looking again.
You realize that the planning and execution of this task may require a fee.
Absolutely. You can't pull the wool over our eyes. We understand this is a transaction, and we understand as professionals you must be reimbursed. Kind of coinage were you thinking?
I'm currently tripling what I was thinking inside my head.
But then like Devin gives you that look like, but then like,
what would a reasonable sum be for something like this? Because I don't know, because it's abstracted in this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Jackdaw leans in over one of their shoulders and just says really quietly, if you want us to go up against the Church of the Ecstasy, my friend, even if we're returning it afterwards, that's high risk. So that's 8 coin.
Oh, well. I mean, the original wager was only for 10 coin, so I suppose, George, we could split the other 2, but yeah, I could do 8 coin. Would you do 8 coin? We could do 8. And they kind of do this thing where George is like, well, 8 coin is no fortune to me. And Jack is like, why stop at 8? I mean, tell you what, if you can return it, we'll give you 12. 12! Why not 14? And then there's suddenly like a silence where George clearly is like, oh no, I think 12 is more than enough.
I believe that we can help you for 12 coin. That should not be a problem. We will acquire the lungs and return it.
Demonstrate and return, yes?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Gratitude is only 2 days away, gentlemen, so it is important to us that it happens on Gratitude Day, as it's like an annual tradition for, just a bit of a laugh between two boys.
Understood. We will need 1/3 payment in advance.
Oh, well. Hang on.
in order to procure any necessary supplies
And I
for
think
the
we
acquisition.
have our first roll of the night. They're very cautious. They've been robbed twice tonight.
Wow, they're aware that they've been robbed. I'm mildly impressed.
I think people just didn't bother to bring their A game for these guys.
No, Jacques was aware he had a gun earlier, and now he doesn't. And so yeah, they're nervous about this. I think someone needs to convince them if you want down payment up front. So the beauty of Blades is I don't tell you what to roll. You tell me what you think would be an appropriate way to do it, and then you roll that skill. Now, you could say, well, I'm going to wreck this out of them. There would be consequences to that action. You might say, oh, I could get a ghost to get it out of them. It's entirely up to you, and it informs the narrative.
Oh man, a ghost bouncer would be an impressive.
I would argue that I have absolutely
ghost
nothing
bat.
appropriate
We
other
do have
than
a
using
wonderful
skirmish to intimidate it out of them.
we do have a wonderful slide in our organization.
So Delvin will sway because these aren't his people, but these are the people he integrates the best with, for better and for worse. So he's just like, hey, look, it's just how these things are, because if things go tits up, you're only losing a small part of your investment. That's why we don't ask up front. But also, if you guys cheat us out, we at least get a bit of money. And, it's all about fair business. Maybe if you guys want us to help you with more of your boyish antics in the future, we'll be able to trust you. You trust us, we trust you.
I think it's time to roll it, see how it goes.
Yep.
So you'll click it and it'll ask several questions. The first is your position. At this stage, you are in your home turf, so it's not a desperate roll. It would probably be, at worst, be risky. The only risk you have is you could offend these guys.
Okay.
And then your effect is the next level. Because you're a slide, again, you are surrounded by colleagues. I think you have a really good effect here. So give yourself 1 plus an effect level.
So great.
Great sounds good to me.
Cool. And I don't have any bonus dice, so
Yeah, so roll away.
there we are. 3 to 1. Oh,
So-
boy.
That's a failure.
Yeah.
In Blades in the Dark, 1, 2, and 3 are failures. 4, 5, and 6 are passes. So I really think 4 coin is a lot to hand over to people before.
Maybe a third of the original sum may be more reasonable to you, gentlemen.
I think we would be willing to part with a coin. In exchange, of course, for a Rook token.
I will hand them back the one they gave me earlier.
Yeah, through you pull it from behind his ear, and he's like, oh! You have your first job. So, a bit of context. Every year in the city, there's this huge parade that follows a big looper in the city, and it's a day of debauchery and drinking and having a good time and celebrating, and there's kind of a blind eye turned to a lot of things that would normally be seen as crime. However, the streets are packed with people, and this parade is going to be jammers. And one of the things of the parade is it's a great opportunity for all of the guilds and kind of powers of the city to demonstrate their worth. So the Sparkrights have steam carriages and electric cars running on the streets, these floats. The Church of Ecstasy come out in their high bling. Everything is bejeweled and demonted. The coal workers of Coleridge put on their best shoes and march down the street with banners. It's a huge affair. But you're after one float in particular, and that's the float with the iron lung. So we get on to the gathering information stage of the heist. Who would like to try and gather some information on this and tell me how you might go about it?
Absolutely. I would like to survey the route for the weakest possible site, where the best possible place for us to nip in, nip out with the lungs.
Sounds good to me. So a survey roll, it's controlled. It's a couple of days beforehand. No one's going to notice you walking around. And your effect is great.
Okay, so
you can push yourself for an additional dice. You could stay out all
get
night.
an additional dice anyway.
Well, why would you?
I get +1 effect, as a scout.
So it would be amazing effect.
So position is risky?
Controlled.
Controlled, splendid. Effect is great.
Yep.
And bonus dice is
It-
1.
1,
Zero.
unless you want to push
Zero.
yourself, or 0, unless you want to push yourself into stress.
Or take a devil's bargain.
No, I think I'll leave it as is for the time.
How many dice do you have, Ben?
I have 2
Oh,
in it.
never mind.
Ben rolled a 6 and a 5.
Never mind.
Imagine calling up a demon for that kind of assistance. Yeah, I need to get a float. Really? That's what you're calling me for? Oh.
But yeah, scoping the route, working out what the weakest point is, the best place to get in, get the lungs, get out.
So Ben, you find you like from memory of the past, you've been at these before, and from like surveying the route, you walk the route, you realize the docks is probably the best place to hit it. It's just before the end of the parade, so everyone is kind of at that stage where they're running for the pub. They like I don't know how parades here in Ireland, we have a pretty big parade every year, and there's a certain point of the route where everyone's like, we've done enough walking. It's the docks. So the parade starts to disperse in the docks before it heads back to its origin point in Brightstone. And also, it is just abandoned warehouse after abandoned warehouse after abandoned warehouse. Okay, anyone else looking for any kind of information in particular?
Could I, even though I fucked up my swear roll, try again? My aim being to see if I can sweet talk some of the people who would actually be managing the float to maybe get us to not like get us the float, but just like maybe get an easier way onto it or to get near it or something along those lines. I'm not sure how to verbalize it.
Does anybody know a fence we can talk to? We could
Has anyone-
replace it with a fake very quickly.
Has anyone a contact that might be useful at this point? Because now your other option is to go to like either the Sparkrights or the Steel Workers, because they're the only 2 people involved in the construction.
I could go to Petra, the city clerk, and have her pull the plans for the float to see, its construction plans
Yeah, absolutely.
and permits.
100%. Yeah. So how would you convince Petra to show you these things?
I think I would go in there and while I was chatting her up, I would ask her about the parade and have her pull out, just show me some things about the parade, and then I would use a little bit of finesse to maybe just slip the plans for the float we're looking for out of the pile so I can take a closer look at them.
Sounds good to me. So Petra's like, yeah, no, I'm interested in why you're always interested in something mad, absolutely mad, Jack. Come on in, we'll have a look. So last time it was those prams. This time it's the float. Come on in.
I tell you, Petra, the floats are amazing. You've seen them. There's so many different things you can look at when you're looking at these floats. And perhaps, depending on what you're doing after the parade, maybe you and I can enjoy the after parade party.
Oh, you're an awful tease, And anyway, she's kind of So roll your finesse roll. See how you go.
All right.
It's risky,
Yeah,
but that's all. And then you can push yourself for a bonus dice if you want.
Yep. I'm gonna push myself because my finesse is only 1 dot. So risky, standard effect.
It's the beauty of having an accent. It means I don't have to do an accent to play.
Just the worst Scottish accent. I can't do it.
No,
with
it was good. It's good. Don't worry about it.
Yes, you get the plans you're looking for, but you have the feeling, because it's a 4 in a risky mark,
Yep.
the feeling that this may be the last time Petra's going to give you something without there being some actual payment for it.
Well, and he turns and looks at her and realizes kind of that he's got caught, and he says, Petra, if you meet me after the parade, I think I might have a little extra something that might help you for the next festival day.
All right. Oh, that sounds very interesting. And we'll fade to black on that one. So now you were talking about maybe charming someone, or
just somebody who'd be actually like piloting the float. People pilot floats.
Yes. Yes, they do. What,
The saddest captain in the world. Oh, could have been a ship. Oh, my float.
it is one of the Leviathan hunters captains who pilots this float. It's like the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh and the Leviathan hunters have really close ties, and no one can tell why. But like for all of their ceremonies and things, there's always a Leviathan hunter somewhere around. So there is a Leviathan hunter who is
Okay, yeah. I'd like to approach one of them. I don't know what channel would be best. Probably like probably a tavern or a bar. Or
yeah.
something,
So
you know.
you find yourself in a tavern called the Beast's Jaws, or no, the Beast's Maw. That sounds better. And you're looking for Marion Griggs. You know you're looking for Marion Griggs because Marion Griggs basically is tied to everything to do with the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. And oddly, Marion is like, she's like a really proper Leviathan hunter. A lot of these guys come from nobility, but they're like rough and ready because the things they see at sea are odd. Marion Griggs hunts exclusively what are called dreamer Leviathans. Not a lot's known about them, but she's an odd character. She wears immaculate white clothing, and in these taverns where there's like brawls breaking out and like actual murders happening, they're really rough. Marion drinks tea at her table, you know? So you come in, and as you come in the door, there's like two guys being like, "You're just like your dad!" like bumping each other in the head. No, you're like your dad! And you know, this is like
I feel like that at the end of that fight, they're both crying and hugging, like, we had
seconds
horrible
later.
father.
The thing is, what they're
I
not
love
telling you
you,
is that they're
man.
actually brothers.
yes, yeah.
Oh, dear.
So and you can spot Marion Griggs across the room straight away.
I do want to do something though, if possible. Can I fancy myself up to look
Yes, for
really
sure.
foppish?
For sure.
I have a specific goal in mind.
Great. Tell us all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, come across. So as he comes in, I would like him to be really like he's gonna be like, "What ho, fellows! I'm seeking out Marion Griggs. Do you know where she is?"
The two guys who are throttling each other just stop and look at you, and then kind of quietly point both at the same time. Like one guy's got the other guy by the neck, and he's like, he had his fist raised, and it just turns a fist. And he's like, she's the one in white, and everyone's like, yeah, like the whole bar is pointing because they're just so thrown about by this.
He'll do a completely over the top bow, like, "Oh, thank you, good sir."
You'll have to step over them, so it's like this really awkward.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course, yes. He's got a little cane as well. He's really just trying to look like somebody you want to punch. And he's it's like, "Are you the one they call a Marion?"
The very same. Please
Perfect.
have a seat.
Yes. Well, you see, I have shall we say, a wager going on with one of my compatriots. You see, we want to see the Iron Lung, and we see. I think it's run by electricity, but he has his spooky beliefs. He thinks it's all ghosts. No, it's all very ridiculous. But if possible, it would help if we could perhaps see the apparatus up close, just for a moment, just one desk moment. Would that be possible? I hear you're the person that could facilitate that possibility, and I'd like to roll something, I suppose.
Yeah, you can roll something. Yep.
You can roll something.
Yeah.
Don't die.
Quick, let him roll before his voice slips into a register only audible to dogs and bats.
It's always a risk for me.
It
I
sounds-
imagine
it's-
this is risky.
Yeah, it's risky, absolutely, and your effect is limited.
Yeah, no, I figured. My hope is even if I fail,
Yeah, I know what you're
it's
going
gonna
for.
be like, oh well, I know who it is to get. Oh, that was not limited.
Make
There we
sure
go.
you guys can collect the coin first. That's the main thing.
Okay, there we go. 4 to 3.
Succeeded.
There's like a brief moment where you have like a flop sweat, where you have that moment of, I've made a huge mistake. Like, because the bar is silent. Those guys are still holding each other by the collar and they're all just watching, And like with a word, she could have the whole bar down on top. She's one of the few captains here tonight. And then she goes, and like shakes her head and goes, I assure you, the iron lung is very real. In fact, it's the original set of lungs of the first ever Leviathan hunter. And they beat to this very day. And that is all I will tell you. You, sir, are incorrect.
My. Well, I must thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to tell my compatriots, of course, because it's a boyish fun, as they say. But let's just say you've helped greatly, and he'll wink really exaggeratedly. I feel like that's useful information, but I don't want to push my luck because I think I am going to be stabbed. So,
And then she kind of gestures to the door. You know,
I've laid the seeds now. That's good. We've got our way out. They'll get the blame, not us.
Leon, is there anything you'd like to do before we begin this heist? Anything?
Yeah. So I'm thinking. Okay, I wanted to find out more about the lungs, but I guess in terms of like size and stuff, because if we've got to carry them away, then we need to know what size container to put them in or something like that, or whether they're like if they are iron or if they're really heavy.
Yeah, I really hope they're lung sized. If it's not an actual iron lung that we've got to like wheel off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so probably the place to find this out would be either the library or one of the universities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Or you could go directly to the Church of the Flesh.
Well, I figured they're not on display if it's such a big deal.
No, not at all. It's like they're like the crown jewels, you know, very much so. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'll go to the library.
Yeah, no problem. So it sounds like probably a study,
mm-hmm.
And it's controlled. You're in a library. You're not in a bar dressed as a dandy.
Not trying to trick everyone. So I click study, and oh wait, what's happened? No, because now I've got to go to the other window. There we go. For all the viewers watching, I'm the person that's new to the game and who Josh is explaining all the rules to. So it's controlled.
Yes, controlled. And then your effect will be standard. I think standard is good.
Standard. Cool. Bonus dice, just 0. Submit.
No, you could push yourself by staying up all night. Well, you rolled it. Yeah, perfect. You succeed. It's after like an afternoon of flicking through the books. I'm probably one of the few characters in this group who can read. You find that the iron lung is recorded as an actual pair of human lungs that still breathe to this day. And you find a sketch, and the sketch is of this like bedazzled and diamanted out rib cage, and in them hanging is like a set of lungs that are very much so human, very much so normal size, and they're breathing. Mm-hmm. It's a phenomenon that people can't explain, but the church say it's a miracle because there's no ghost activity detected on them. There's no demon possession. There's nothing. They are just a miracle that was donated down to the church. The first set of Leviathan Hunter lung was still breathing. So yeah, 100% you can pinch them in a duffel bag is what I'm getting at.
Cool.
Excellent. So we've done some serious what's the word I'm looking for? Information gathering. And now we get on to my favorite part of the game, which is planning. Blades in the Dark was developed as like a response to the over planning we all do when we play games like D&D and Pathfinder, and how those plans that we spend hours working on fall apart at first contact. So the whole idea is we have 6 ways we can start a plan, and we assume that our characters know what they're doing. So all you guys need to tell me is how you want to start this plan, and then we roll an engagement roll to see how the first few steps of the plan have gone. So our options are assault, do violence is the description, deception, lure, trick, or manipulate, stealth, trespass unseen, occult, engage a supernatural power, social, negotiate, bargain, or persuade.
I think stealth is the way to go.
Yeah, stealth or deception, one of those two.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere.
Probably a combination of both.
Yeah,
To be
probably
honest.
too. Because side note, he's not very good at stealth. The only thing he's good at is not dying from people wanting to stab him.
But that doesn't mean that we all have to be there for the literal heist.
Yeah.
We can divide labor and spread it about.
So
stealth.
We've chosen stealth, and now we get on to the engagement rolls. So you get 1 dice for sheer luck. And then we go through almost like a flow chart of, do you gain dice or lose dice? Is the operation particularly bold or daring? I would say yes. You're stealing.
We're stealing from a float in the middle of a parade.
Yes, you get an extra dice. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target when they're weakest? You decide to take them in the docks. Yes, you get another dice. Are there any of your friends or contacts that can provide aid? Aaron sorted that. That's another dice. That's 4 dice. And then are there any other elements that you would want to consider? Maybe a lower tier target will give you another dice. These guys are actually a higher tier than you. We're not going to worry about that too much.
There is something I do want to consider, though, and that's replacing the one that we nick with a fake one.
Very
for
possible.
the last leg of the journey.
Set of lungs in a city like this.
Well, I was also going to
pig
say,
lungs. They don't have to be human.
Yeah,
pig lungs are the same size.
Would making patsies that are going to take the fall for us also help, or is that not going to help at all?
That might give you a dice, but I am going to take a dice away from you anyway for something you don't know about yet.
No, well, but we also do get an extra dice for second story.
5 engagement dice is probably the most dice any crew have ever rolled for me. So who would like to roll? And what we do is we pick the best dice.
Terrible dice luck, so no.
I will roll the dice.
Ben, 5d6, please.
We've all got to blame Ben if this goes wrong.
We all know Aaron has the best dice luck.
Well, 1 6.
There's a 6 in there. Yeah,
that's
good.
Good.
That's good.
That's good
we
enough.
take the best dice. The day of gratitude is upon us, and the city is reveling and reeling. Important note: it's always dark at Duskfall. It's always nighttime. So
I honestly
when
thought we were going to
day-
spend an hour actually planning a heist.
No. But that's the other
I'm
thing
in
I
my
think
head.
as
I'm thinking like,
well.
how are we going to do this, guys? We're going to like make a plan and
What
break
I-
out
what-
into groups.
I was going to say what I think this also helps with is, as much as it helps people who spend too much time planning, it also helps those people who are like, let's just do it. It's like, you're not even going to like think about what you're going to do. No, let's just go. Oh no, everything's gone wrong. If only we had a small template to follow.
And that's
Like,
that's the beauty of the flashback mechanic in this game. Is you get into a tough space, you spend a little stress, and you go, well, actually, yesterday I did this because I knew this was a possibility.
Yeah,
And you solve your problem retroactively.
Exactly.
I've had characters go back 2 years to learn languages so they can understand what the guards are
Oh,
saying.
that's awesome.
I've had my darling wife once went back a day and implanted a grenade in her chest and blew herself up, and it wasn't worth it, but it was entertaining. The flashback mechanic's amazing. So
It
yeah,
represents that bit in a heist movie, doesn't it? Where
it's
you
Ocean's
want to
11.
know how in the hell did they know to have that thing, and then you see like a flashback scene in the heist movie that shows 2 days before with them
Swallowing a
driving 3
grenade.
different coloured minis through Rome to check the route or what have you.
Absolutely. So our kind of montage cuts in on Leon's character Crackle is in the lab and he's making a device. We don't know what the device is yet, but he kind of has the goggles on and there's smoke and there's the acrid smells coming from it. Meanwhile, Nye's character Delvin is suiting up and he's looking at different mustaches and it's like no, and there's a lady's wig put on and then it's taken off again and put on again.
Of course, yeah.
And while those two are working away in the lair, Aaron's character Jackdaw and Ben's character Rufus are like following the float on the rooftops. You can just see their shadows every now and then between the 2 stops. It's getting late into the day and the revelry has been outstanding, and you can see the floats are descending into the docks, and already like some of the guards have peeled away, some floats have broken down or left by the side of the road, but the one float still really guarded is the Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh. There's almost like a Swiss guard around it. They're not like police officers. There's no actual police force in Duskfall. These guys are carrying pole arms, but they also have a pistol on their belt because the pole arm is really just to like nudge passersby out of the way. And as you have planned, the float goes over this kind of like a wooden bridge. It's not really a bridge over water. It's just like a bridge over a minor gully. And the whole bridge goes doof and collapses. And the 2 front iron wheels, because you had a look at the plans, get lodged perfectly in this gully that you spent all last night widening. And they're spinning. So what's everyone doing?
So I'm going to go with a normal load for this.
Yes, good. Oh, sorry, Aaron. Thank you so much. What type of loads are we carrying? This is a question. How many items can we have on us?
Oh God, I really shouldn't be carrying anything too extraordinary because I'll die if I try and fight someone. I've got
Maybe a light
nothing in
load, then?
prowess. Light for me, yeah.
Yep.
Do I need to specify what the 3 things are right now, or can
Nope,
I
nope.
just,
Just when you need them.
I always forget that part.
It's one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't forget, you get 2 extra. If they're gear or tools, you get 2 load for free if it's a gear tool. So okay, so I think so once it lodges down, I think that Jackdaw would have already been underneath the bridge, waiting to go up through the bottom of the float.
Sounds great. You know that the middle of the float, from looking at the plans, is like, it's not a cargo space, but there's like an empty space because it's a carriage that has been adapted to have to be raised to be higher on the street. So where the original carriage body is, there is like a space that you can crawl in.
I really want to dress up again. I want to just assume bizarre characters. It's not helpful, I know. I really
Well, it could be.
shouldn't
I mean, a
You need a
distraction, distracting the guards could very well
So Aaron,
be
to
very.
get into the carriage, you'll need to roll something unseen. You're under the bridge, but you know these wheels are spinning quite light. People may be looking under the carriage.
So I'm thinking Prowl, because he's selected the exact right place.
Yeah.
In the shadows to come up through the center of this as soon as it drops. So everybody's looking around going, what happened? And he's going to slide up into that crawl space.
Great.
Okay,
And
if you're
he
going
is-
to do that, then I'm going to do the opposite of what I'd originally planned, which was that.
With me.
You both
No,
are
it's cool.
going to the
I have
thing
a
like,
I have a good
oh.
plan that will do instead, and it means we get to use the flashback mechanism.
Great.
So, does anybody else want to do anything first?
Leon, what do you want to do?
Well, let's see how it goes for Aaron first. Let's have him
Yes.
roll it just in case he's caught
So,
right now.
Yeah. And he pulls his fine shadow cloak around him, which gives him greater effect for his prowl roll. So I'm assuming it's risky.
It is absolutely risky, but your effect is great.
So let's talk about what kind of devil's bargain are we talking about here?
Yeah, this, Leon, is one of my favorite things of the game. It's called the Devil's Bargain. Aaron can earn an extra dice to his roll, but there's a consequence. And regardless of whether he succeeds or fails, the consequence happens anyway. So an example of a Devil's Bargain might be they remember your face, or you've burned this contact, or it could be something like you develop the galloping trots. Any of these, but the beauty of it is you can suggest Devil's Bargains as well as the Games Master. So Aaron, before I say what I think, is there any Devil's Bargain in particular you think would be appropriate?
Regardless of what happens, getting up in here from underneath this is going to shred up my fine shadow cloak, and I'm going to lose it as a loadout option in the future.
Yeah, I was actually going to say something similar, that you lose a piece of gear while you kind of work your way through the mechanism. I think that's a fair Devil's Bargain.
All right.
I didn't think your shadow cloak. I think that's a bit harsh, but let's go for it.
Well, I was trying to. I figured, that would be the thing that
that's
would
most
most
likely to get
likely
caught
to
up.
get beat up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for real.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Come on, Daddy needs to survive this. 4. Oh man.
So one thing the plan left out is it had this rectangle that just said inner workings, and you were like, sort of great. It's like actual cogs and pistons firing under no compression, and it's the mystery of the spark, right? And it is hell. It is the longest 45 seconds of your life. Every part of you gets pinched, electrocuted, shocked. Just as you think you're free, you're like it's clamped in something. You're certain you're going to lose it, but it dissipates just the last second. Could you take some harm, please? I'm going to say a level 1, but fill up both squares, which is bruised everywhere.
Okay, I am going to try to resist that. I'm assuming that'll be a prowess roll.
I think it will be a prowess roll.
Okay, I will try to resist that.
So you can resist consequences of rolls as well. And you do this by choosing one of the fields and telling us how you would resist it. And what you do is you roll that, and I'll explain it as Aaron rolls.
So he's pretty finesse. So he's got good agility. He's got good body awareness because that's where his prowl comes in. So he's recognizes the risk, and he's doing one of those Tom Cruise moments where he's sliding in and around things and takes 2 stress instead. And then are you reducing it down to just 1 level 1 harm, or
1 level 1 harm? Yeah, we'll go with that. And just take bruise. So what it does is he rolls on the highest dice in this case. He takes away from 6 stress and leaves him with 2. So he takes 2 stress damage. It can go really well for you. You can get 6 and it costs you nothing to resist. So it's always worth considering. But also you can get a 1 and take 5 stress, which is huge. So it's kind of a balance.
Risky.
It is risky. So Aaron, sorry, I have you down. Jackdaw like kind of squirms. So you suss the timing of it, but it is an intense 45 seconds. And like I said, your shadow cloak is caught in the mechanism, pulled away from you, and from the outside, all anyone sees is they see the machine go whoa, 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 for a split second, as this shadow cloak goes through its inner workings. You are now on the float. You're still down a level, but you're on the float. Ben, you were talking about some sort of messing around.
Yeah, I'm going to start shooting. But before I start shooting, I am going to flash back to the day before, where I'm going to get some special ammunition made. So I wish to go and buy some basically paint bullets.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I want to buy some paint bullets for my rifle and persuade my bounty hunter friend, who is Castor, to assist me in shooting some paint bullets at people in the crowd.
Okay, even though it's a flashback, I think we need a roll to convince Castor to come with you.
That seems fair.
The paint bullets I'll let you have, but I think you would need to.
I'm challenging her to a hunt then.
Sounds good, yeah.
And it's going to be a hunt roll, because we're going to be in the docks and there's going to be a bunch of tow rags running around. I reckon I can mark X number of moving targets. How well do you think you can do? Kind of thing.
You says these are paint bullets?
Paint bullets, yeah. I will supply the paint bullets.
Oh, no, this isn't like a sick joke where I shoot the people again, is it?
No, you can check the bullets. You can shoot me with one of them if you like.
And immediately she takes the gun and unloads it. Oh, so it hurts even better.
It hurts when you shoot it at this kind of range. I'm talking about shooting down from a roof. But that's going to leave a mark.
Okay. I don't know. I'm very busy on Gratitude Day, getting absolutely shit-faced. So this is your hunt roll.
Okay.
I love the idea that, and I know this isn't the case, but just someone going, "Oh, I do love wearing my nice clothes."
Okay, so what's my position?
Your position is controlled. This is a buddy of yours. They're going to say yes or no. And your effect is great. You've just shown them something very cool.
Something very cool. All right.
In fact, you can have a bonus dice for having the paint bullets. I'll give you that.
Nice. There we go. Let's see how that pans out. Oh.
The allure of.
Can I take a devil's bargain after the fact, or is that not possible?
No. But with a controlled action, you can go at it a different way.
Yeah,
and make it a risky action.
You've tried to like engage her.
Engage competitively.
But because it's controlled, you can disengage and come at another direction. So you could try and sway her. You could try and intimidate her.
All right. I will be honest with you. There is money in it for me. Perhaps I could cut you in on a slice of the treasure. Perhaps for a coins that you could spend immediately afterwards on to getting pissed.
And she goes, "Well, I do love money and shooting people. So this is a win-win.
I'm going to give you money for shooting people."
Rufus, you are truly my best friend. So that's the flashback, and it cuts to the two of you on the roof, and she's loading these paint bullets in, and she's like, "And you are showing me the paint bullets."
You can check some, not again on me. But look, I will shoot first if you like, and then I'll shoot someone down in the crowd. I kind of wanted us to be on different rooftops, but it's okay if we're not.
Oh no, she can stalk away at that point.
Okay, yeah. So I will just pop up and shoot a paint bullet at someone.
Excellent. Make me a hunt roll to see do you hit.
And I'm guessing this is risky.
This is
Effect.
actual bullets. Effect is standard. It hits them or doesn't.
Standard. Now we're not shooting the guardsmen. We're shooting passers-by to make them run around like chickens.
Perfect. Yeah.
And also freak people out because people getting shot are not dying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a miracle.
You've got to hope they don't do that thing, like, you know, when you stub your toe and you go, like, you don't make any noise. Just like...
Yeah, so you've rolled a 4 in this situation, which is we have some consequences. But yeah, you peek up and you just see your buddy across the road, and you kind of
I imagine that the guardsman seeing the shooters is something of a consequence.
It certainly is.
Mask up, but still getting clocked.
Yeah, your first volley goes off. You get about 4 shots off between you, so 2 each before you're spotted. And you hear, they're on the bloody roofs! And all of a sudden, real bullets start coming your way. And we'll cut to Nye. What is Delvin up to?
Oh God, I don't know. Well, we're on distraction because that's all Delvin is really good for, and it's what I would like to do because I think it's fun.
There is one other person that needs distracting. We've distracted the guards.
Yeah, I now need to distract the captain.
The captain, your mate.
Oh, fuck. Okay, right. Whew. Okay, wait. Let me double check my things. It doesn't. I don't have any disguise. Oh wait, I have a fine disguise kit. So could I disguise myself as one of the guards? Would that be possible?
Yeah, absolutely. You could even do it if you wanted.
Oh, hang on. Stress. I have to put stress on for a flashback, don't I?
It was a fairly friendly flashback, so only 2 stress max.
Okie dokie.
Yeah. So like the people who went back 2 years to learn a language, that was a high stress one because, you know, they had to take a second job to be able to, it was a night course, you know.
Yeah.
So
spent some time, like, you know, learning it from, you know, people who actually speak it.
I mean, the grenade in the chest, that just maxed it out.
I would say that'd be quite stressful. So now, if you wanted to do a flashback, you could get a flashback to get one of the uniforms.
Yeah, you could. In fact, like, we could cut to you just stepping out onto the promenade with your fellow guards.
Yep. Yeah, it's a slight bit too big because he's quite a skinny fellow. So he's just like, this.
Tell you what, how did you get the costume, the guard outfit the night before? That's the main, because in the bedlam you could definitely step out as a guard now, but how did you get the costume the night before?
So I think what happened was he pretended to be like, so again at a tavern because he loves taverns, and he pretended to be one of the wait staff, and he had like a big bowl of hot soup. And he was like, who needs a? Oh no, I'm so sorry. Oh, let me get you some new clothes. Let me get you a towel. Oh, it's all over your uniform. I'll wash it. I'll take it upon myself. I'm so sorry. And yeah, and he made off with it.
It's too good to be true. Nye, what would you roll for that? It's like it's maybe a sway, or because you're convincing a man to disrobe in a tavern because he's got.
Well, I'd take him to like the back room and I'd let him close down. I wouldn't be standing there in front of him. But yeah, we'd be taking his uniform, which would be a bit weird. What
sway or consort, maybe?
Yeah, I'd say sway is like to sway someone with charm, logic, deception, disguise, bluff, change attitudes, behavior, manipulate, or seduce.
Okay.
All of the above, maybe?
All of the above, yeah, probably all of the above. Yeah, that's quite fair. I'm assuming this is quite risky.
Yeah, it is. Do you want to push yourself for a bonus dice? Take 2 stress?
I will push myself for a bonus dice. And what is the effect? Just a standard effect?
Standard effect, yeah. It happens or it doesn't.
And I have 1 bonus dice, yep.
1 bonus dice, yep. I should probably...
a critical!
He's like... He's mortified, right? Like, he shouldn't have been wearing his Gratitude Day uniform the night before, but he thought it would pull other attractive guardsmen to him, and he's like, oh going to do? And you're assuring him, no, look, vanish oxy action. And it's just like a mushroom crumbling in water and it's coming out. You're like, yeah, come back in 2 or 3 hours. And he's like, oh God. But you have clothes prepared for him and they all fit his size.
Yeah.
I said, and he just goes out the door. And like that, you're holding a guard uniform and you're wondering why the hell you chose a tomato-based soup.
And it was like, I should have gone for the bisque.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you're standing in a slightly red guard uniform. I mean, with your best efforts, and you're going to take an additional stress because you spent most of the night doing dry cleaning.
Okay, so I've got 3 stress now. Yes.
And you've just seen bedlam break out. People are going, ah! And they've been hit in the chest, and there's like blood all over them. And guards are like pulling pistols and shooting up at the roof, and then furiously trying to reload and taking cover by the cart.
Okay.
What are you up to?
He's gonna go over to Marion. By the way, Leon, it looks like you're the one who's gonna have to do the lung stealing, I think. So good luck.
Oh, Aaron's got the stealing taken care of. Don't
Oh
worry
shit!
about
Yeah,
that.
of course, Aaron. Sorry.
Leon
you
may
have to
just
make
need
sure
to
he's got
disable the
something to swap
cart
it with.
or
Oh yeah,
swap it out.
sorry, I got a bit confused there. Yes, he's gonna go over to Marion and he's gonna be like, ma'am, and he's gonna salute and he's gonna be like, wait, we should probably get you out of here, or you can help us with the shooting. I don't want to presume, but we definitely need to deal with this because we're being shot at right now, ma'am. I've been hit, as you can see, and he's gonna gesture to the red mark. I'm all right though. I can still fight. I'm in the game.
It sounds like you're trying to convince him.
Yep, I am. It's more
convince her.
sway.
Sorry, Marion. Yeah, it's another sway. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good that you
just like
spec your
kinda-
character out the way you did.
Yeah. Risky, I presume. Yeah.
Yes. Now I have a devil's bargain for you.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
The devil's bargain is in about 5 minutes. She's gonna go, I know that guy.
Yeah.
In about 5 minutes for the
Okay.
bonus dice.
That is.
It was less than
tempting.
24 hours ago. She
It
saw you
was.
going,
That's really
"Hello!"
tempting.
Kind of helps us anyway because you're setting them up for fall. To begin with.
That is true. You know what? That is very true because I should have said Rich. I probably would have been wearing like makeup, so I don't look like Delvin, obviously.
Okay.
But I do see the rate. Yeah, if that
I'm not
makes
saying
sense.
she'll know Delvin, but she'll have a moment where no matter where she is, she'll
Yes.
go,
Yeah.
that guy, I saw him yesterday.
Yeah. That's what I was referring to. Yeah. Okay. Standard effects. Yeah.
I'd say great effect because your buddies have set you up for this.
Okay. Cool. And it's 1 bonus dice for the Devil's Bargain.
Yes, 1 bonus dice.
Cool. Oh wow! Oh boy, very close.
And she kind of like looks out and is like, well, it looks to me like there's only 2 shooters. I better go get the Archbishop. And then she's like, I'll come with you, but I'll get the Archbishop first. And she heads back onto the float.
Yes. I'm really hoping there's like one guy who's like hamming it up, like, I've been hit. Go on without me. It's like it's blue paint. No.
Short notice, they use green, but they hope they're colorblind. So Leon, in all this bedlam, the truck has started to get traction again, the float, and it's starting to kind of like chug forward slightly. Is there anything you might be able to do to stop it, or is there another idea you have?
Yeah, I'm driving the float in front then. And I'm
Excellent.
going to back my float up into them.
We're
Under
going to
the-
need a flashback to see how you got to be in that float.
Yeah. So, flashback to the morning, setting up. And I don't know where the floats would be stored at the beginning of the run. And
So it runs from Brightstone, so they're all in Brightstone.
they're all in Bristol.
Yeah, in the morning.
Okay, and I turn up with the tool bag as though I'm a mechanic doing the final safety checks on the floats. Because
Perfect.
you remember 2 years before that float went bang
Oh,
down
dreadful.
on
Oh my
Sycamore.
God. All those people.
We don't want that going on
Totally
again.
fine, but very disturbed.
And I'm going to be underneath the float, like I'm tinkering away, and I'm going to be like, oh, I need a part to fix this float. This float's going to go wrong. It's going to blow up. Probably before Sycamore, it'd be terrible. I'm going to need a left-handed spanner. You're going to have to go to Mackenzie's to get that.
And a long wait.
Yeah, and a long wait.
You should have like your trousers down a little bit so you can see your bottom.
Authenticity,
So
man,
it's just
authenticity.
when you, it's like, oh well, he has to be a mechanic because he's not putting trousers.
I'd be like,
on.
I've got to keep pressure here, so I can't come out from underneath the truck. So you're gonna have to go get it for me.
And how are you convincing this guy? Is it like is it through the sheer like your tinkering ability? You just look so like you're holding everything together with your fingertips.
No, I'm gonna have a little like smoke bomb or something. So you can like psst, make
Oh,
it
the
like
Geordie
smoke out from
LaForge
underneath the
effect.
truck.
Yeah. So if you tick off something on your load to say that you used a smoke bomb earlier today, then I'll give you a bonus dice for the smoke bomb. But
Okay.
whatever your roll is,
What do I tick off on my thing for smoke? Is it just tinkering tools or
you can just-
subterfuge?
yeah, you can just tick
subterfuge.
gadget or
supplies?
subterfuge. Yeah, absolutely.
Subterfuge supplies. Yep.
Can't seem to say that word. Okay, right, and then I'm rolling. What am I rolling? Sorry, on
It's up to you.
Tinker.
Tinker probably.
Tinker. That's good. It's better than Sway.
He must know what he's talking about. He's wearing glasses.
Right,
It's risky because this guy could ask you for ID at any point,
good.
but your effect is great and you get a bonus dice.
Great.
Captain, somebody's targeted us with an inverse polaron beam.
Submit.
What? I don't know, sir.
Yes.
The engine just broke. I just made it up.
611. Ooh.
You realize after, like, while this is going up, you've really oversold it. This guy's 16 and it's his uncle's float and he's just been told to watch it for 5 minutes. And he's like, oh, Mackenzie! Oh! And he salutes despite not being in any form of military. And he runs off before you've even told him what he needed to get. So it's going to be like a while when he gets there and then, so the float totally to yourself.
Yeah, just get in, close the door. I'm in the float.
Excellent. Okay, so we cut back. You'll take, I think, probably 2 stress for that, purely because you were there early in the morning, and it used, it was a tight moment.
Yeah.
So the float behind you starts to gain traction again, and it's over to you. What are you doing, Leon?
So I'm in front of that float. So I'm going to back up under the pretense of I'm being helpful to help tow their float out, but really I'm just going to ram it back and just stop it going anywhere.
That sounds like a wreck to me.
You
Yes.
should stick a big L, like a big red L on the back of it. I go, oh, I'm sorry, it's my first time.
Oh, the float is full of leeches.
So risky or controlled?
It is risky
It's
because
risky.
you potentially could catch them between the floats.
Oh God, yeah. Don't
You
want
could
to
actually
kill
end
the
up
prowler.
towing them.
Effect standard.
Standard effect.
Yeah. No bonus dice. 0.
Bonus dice.
Could.
There is a devil's bargain if you would like. You could either push it, take a further 2 stress,
Mhm.
for a bonus dice, or you could take a devil's bargain, which is you will take the harm whiplash from this impact.
Oh yeah, I'll take the devil's bargain on that.
Okay, so
think it's-
regardless of if it passes or not, you'll
Okay,
take the
okay.
harm whiplash. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll explain that once it goes. Okay.
Submit. Oh God, it's a
Oh boy.
Just
That's
in.
close.
Yeah, so you put it into reverse, and it's as you're coming down, they anticipate this, So the last act that Marion does, she starts to put it in reverse, but it's way too late. So you still make the impact, but it's not quite the impact you thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
So you hit it, and there's kind of a confusion, and the 2 floats are stuck in because you've just left it in reverse, brick on the pedal, and actually, but rather than shunting it back, you've kind of shunted it sideways, and it could still kind of get out around you through maneuvering if it had to in a minute or so. And you do take the harm whiplash. So if you see on your character sheet, let me just get it up. You have on the left hand side, you have harm, and there's 3 levels. There's 1, 2, and 3. Whiplash in this case is it's going to fill out your level 1 at the bottom. So you can just type in whiplash,
Okay.
and it means that every dice roll you make with this filled out, you will have less effect. So something that would have been a great effect will be standard.
Right.
Standard will be limited. You can resist this if you want, by telling us how you would resist. Like, did you jump out at the last moment? Did you do something to
No,
avoid
I
a
didn't
collision?
resist it. I thought I was a better driver than that.
It turns out this thing goes faster in reverse. You've been driving in first gear this whole time. Excellent. So everyone witnesses, probably back over to Jackdaw. Jackdaw, you're in the inner workings of this thing. You've just got out your cloak shredded. You're like, oh, that was a good one. And next, the whole thing shunts sideways.
It's like The plan's working.
And you hear the screaming outside as well as, "Come with me, ma'am! Come with me! No, you really have to come with me!"
Oh, we've just been hit! Magic! Go, go, go! This is a code 12!
So Jackdaw pulls out his silence potion and drinks that so that everything around him will be silent for quite a while, and then pulls out his fine lock-picking tools and starts to dismantle the undercarriage between him and the lungs so he can pull them down and out.
Yeah, I think probably that's either a finesse roll, maybe, to get that open. But silence would definitely mean that no one hears it. So that takes away a lot of my consequences I was going to do. And also everyone above on the top layer suddenly is struggling to hear things. It's going a bit muzzy, as if they're kind of tinnitus from like a loud bang or something.
Mm-hmm.
I've
So
got shell shock!
They're firing grenades!
Talk to me about a devil's bargain here.
Let me see. What would be an appropriate devil's bargain? So you're on a float. You have already lost your shadow cloak. The devil's bargain. No, I don't want to do that. I was originally going to say you pop out in the middle of them. But no, I don't like that idea. Has anyone on the crew got a good idea for a devil's bargain?
I was thinking that
I want to say something with the Archbishop. Is he on the float?
The Archbishop's still on the float. Yeah, Marion has gone to get him, but she will be a while to get him. Like, it's up onto a float. How about this? The Archbishop can sense you. He may not hear you, but he knows someone's there. That should
I
be.
think I'm just gonna push it.
Yeah, two stress. Lovely.
I think I'm just gonna push it. Yep. Okay, standard effect.
Standard effect, yeah.
Since I'm using
I would say great effect. Great effect, yeah. You have a silence potion and your fine lockpicking tools, so great effect.
Come on, let's get a good roll here. All right, 5. I'll take the 5. That's not bad.
The floor opens up so silently and so masterfully, and you see this tableau in front of you of these men in like a high regalia, kind of think Orthodox church, big hats and robes, and they're running around, and one of them is like clutching at his chest, which now has like red paint, and everyone around him is kind of like looking, and they're like, "What is going on?" But it's completely silent. And the only catch is in the bedlam, the iron lung has been knocked over. It's not where it was when you guys started. In fact, this kind of rib cage, this diamante rib cage, is currently sliding around on the deck of the float.
So I think that I am going to resist that with my special armor, my shadow ability. So I think that how he does that is he opens the floor and he sees it moving, and just with this amazing speed and athleticism, he actually grabs it and pulls it down just as it comes by. So it almost looks like it just drops into the hole.
Amazing. I love the sound of that. Perfect.
All right, so that's been used.
So you find yourself sitting, like, legs out to the sides, with this sitting right in your lap. The trapdoors open above you, but we're going to cross over to Ben for a second. Rufus, you're on the roofs, and it's actually getting a bit hot now. They've kind of formed a firing line.
Yeah, I'm prowling my way off the roof. I'm going to slide down a drain pipe, duck through one of the warehouses, and pop out next to where the float is, so that I can perform the switch.
Great. Okay, absolutely.
Sorry,
sounds like a prowl. This is a desperate roll. You have an entire group of guards looking at you. Now, the beauty of Blades in the Dark is anytime you roll a desperate roll, you tick an experience in that skill. The more desperate rolls, the better you get at that thing.
Of course, if you screw it up.
How do you tick experience?
And so at the top of, let's say, prowess.
Prowess, yeah.
You'll see
the
little
tabs.
Tabs that you can
There we
tick.
go. Okay, so I got to make a prowl roll.
Fantastic.
Let's talk Devil's Bargain, because I think it might be essential.
What's your buddy's name? Clyra, your friend, the bounty hunter.
Castor.
Castor. And she did not expect you to bail on her. she thought there was a full afternoon of fun, and she'd just seen you run down a drain pipe. She's not your enemy, but she's no longer your friend.
Yeah, I don't think I want to burn that. I might push it as well.
I was
Too
going to say,
stress.
I
Go on,
like
no.
I like the idea that Delvin is also shit. Like,
Well-
obviously poorly, but like, yes, we
And the-
must kill.
It doesn't
There
help
is an-
that they
What's
beat
the
you at
effect?
cards last night. The effect is standard.
Okay.
There is another mechanic that could potentially come in play here, and that's where another player aids you as part of the plan. They only take 1 stress.
And it,
So, like-
it could be Delvin could
Yeah.
step out and be like, he's
There,
over
there.
there! Yeah.
Yeah, formation A, and they're all like, "What the fuck is he talking
Delvin
about?"
makes a roll, and it's only 1 stress. It's for both parties, though, isn't it, Aaron?
Delvin takes 1 stress. Ben still makes the roll, but he gets the bonus dice.
So you can do it that way.
Okay.
So only I need to make the roll.
Right.
Delvin has to make a setup roll. So
Okay.
something that Nye is doing to assist you in this.
I guess sway again because I'm trying to confuse them basically. They're just like, wait, what? I'm not like trying to convince them to change what they're doing. I'm just literally trying to be like, yes, use Alpha Tactic C, and they're just like, what? Like, oh boy.
Is that a command roll, maybe?
Oh, that's a good point. I have no points in that though because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, stick with Sway. He's over there.
Like you say, I think we should be using this formation.
Yeah, it's all
Or,
about
I mean, I
grammar.
could do like survey or study because I do have a point in them and like kind of, I don't know. I feel bad that I'm
Remember-
just using sway.
If you push yourself, you have a point in everything.
Oh,
But then you'll be taking
okay.
3 stress, which is,
A lot. Yeah, I'm my stress is ticking up quite quickly. I'll go for sway. It's I imagine this is risky. Or is
I'm
this
going to say
also-
it's desperate.
it's desperate. Yeah. Okay.
If it doesn't go ahead, they're going to shoot Rufus.
Yep. Okay. Desperate. Standard effect.
Yeah, standard effect.
Cool. And I have no bonus dice. Okay. Yeah.
It's like at the moment you're like, they're over there. You realize you're standing in front of the firing line of all these guys who are staring at you, being like, "That's David's outfit," and then you realize, like, in this firing line, there's a man who's just in normal clothing,
Oh no!
and he cocks a pistol at you, and he's going to
Yeah.
shoot at you. And I'm going to roll a d6 to see if he hits. So roll.
And this is how I die.
You can roll with that bunch.
You could always resist it. Oh my god, he fails. He rolls a 3. So,
Sway the bullet. Sway the bullet.
hey. So the gun goes off, but it flies into the warehouse door behind you.
Okay. I'd like to run away.
I'm gonna let you run without rolling as the warehouse around you erupts. But you have successfully drawn attention away from Ben.
Ah!
So, Rufus, you suddenly realize the fire line is shooting the wall below you.
That's good. So here we go.
You get a bonus dice to your parallax. Yeah,
6. Beauty.
easy peasy. There's like a weird high pitched wailing you can hear, but
So I vanish from their sight then,
absolutely,
and
yeah.
kind of pop out of the warehouse right by the float and Aaron.
Let me see. Were you recognized? Have you changed your appearance at all, or?
They know it's me, just wearing a mask like that.
Okay, so you're just the same guy without a mask. Okay, yeah, great. So Leon, you have disabled the cart. You're limping out of the cabin. You can see all the gunfire going off. Is there anything else you're trying to do?
Yeah, I think I'm still under this pretense that I'm helping pull their cart forward. So I'm gonna shout like, but obviously it's lots of chaos going on. So we're like, well, we gotta get you out of there because they're probably trying to steal the iron lungs. Maybe.
Don't remind him of that.
No, yeah, we should check that. Thank you for telling us. Fuck no.
So I'll be like, I'm gonna winch you out, and I'll point to whoever's on the back of my float. I don't know what float did I steal. What other things do we have in this city?
Very good question. You stole from the Mushroom Growers Guild.
The mushroom growers.
Yeah, so there's just hay and like mushrooms and soil all over the front of this like immaculate white float that you backed into. And there's like these guys leaning over me like, no, my lion's mane. She was 17 years old. That's very old for a mushroom. This is the greatest tragedy of today.
Okay, I'll point at the one that's wearing the crown because he's the king oyster, mushroom king. I'll be like, help me lash up this truck and we'll pull him.
Oh, well, you know, we're simple folk, but we're good folk.
Yeah.
Because it's like a mycelium rope that he's very proud of. It's you know, it's his pride and joy. And so he you know, helps you tie it around the back of the float and he's throwing it across. But you're meeting a little bit of resistance on the other float. There's like consternation on the top of the float, and there, you know, you can see the Leviathan Hunter is up, and she's kind of like pulling at the bishop, and the bishop is doing that, like, I don't know if you've ever seen like overweight old man thing of like slapping, but it's very ineffective. So no one's listening to you.
Oh, I'll just. I don't need him to. I just pull it with my truck. That's the story I'm sticking with.
Excellent. Okay. We'll come back to Jackdaw. Jackdaw, you're sitting under the deck of the float holding the iron lung.
So he's so Jackdaw will swing it out so that he can pass it off to Grim and take Grim's the fake one and put it back in place.
So you did come through the inner workings of the machine. Are you going out a different way? Is there? Or
no, he's going to drop back down into that compartment with the iron lung. You know, he's got his fine climbing gear hooked up, so he's basically lashed himself into this compartment. He's going to drop down, swing out. You know, basically that classic swing over, drop off, grab the new one, and put it back up.
Right. Okay. That sounds like a desperate roll to me.
It does, sadly. But yes. So I'm thinking finesse because it's all about body mechanics and.
Yeah. You get a bonus for your climbing gear.
Excellent.
I'd say a bonus to effect. I don't know that I have a devil's bargain for you. We had quite a few, but you can push yourself. This seems like a.
Yep, I'm gonna push myself because.
It's a one shot. Why not? You know,
yeah, it's like
these are burners. Yeah.
Who knows? I like this guy. I'd love to see him come back if he survives this heist. Yeah. All right, 6. Thank you.
I must admit, this is not the best and most professionally organized heist I've ever seen, but it is fun.
Yeah.
Well, we are. Let's face it. We're tier 0, so I mean, we're.
Nothing is well organized as this tier.
What's your plan? Running and shouting
and dressing up.
This is like the criminal equivalent of teenage battle of the bands is what you guys are doing there, you know? A lot of emotion, a lot of passion, but not a whole lot of good music. So yeah, in fact, Rufus, you're like, you see Jackdaw swing out, and then he swings back in, and he swings out again this time. He's like, fuck, you know? He was almost too prepared, and this swap is made. And Jackdaw, you find yourself holding your best approximation of the iron lung. Now, Leon, we have a little bit of an involuntary flashback here. Mm-hmm. It was you that made the replica. So let's see how you did.
Oh.
Sounds like a tinker.
Okay, yep. Let me, sorry, I got to put up my sheet.
Ain't I a tinker?
Okay, tinker.
It was risky last night because the time frame was short.
Yeah.
But your effect is great. You were in your workshop with all your tools.
And bonus dice. Oh. Do I take devil's bargain? What would be the devil's bargain on this? They just know they're not real lungs.
It's not even vaguely convincing.
Yeah, I made a liver by mistake.
No, I think the devil's bargain is
Maker's Mark.
I was going to say Maker's Mark, right? The devil's bargain is you almost absentmindedly left traces of yourself in it.
Yeah, okay, I'll take that. That's fun. That sounds good.
Made-
I feel like my
made
pride will be too big in the hole. Yeah.
Your initial
I
there.
wouldn't be able to not put something in there.
It's like a silver.
Oh no,
cliff.
there's a crow on it. You left a crow, a rook. Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
it's convincing. It is. It will sustain scrutiny at a glance. At 5 foot rule, perfect.
Yeah.
3 foot rule, very good. 1 foot rule, that's glass, not diamonds. You know. Yeah. Okay. So, Jackdaw, you find yourself holding the replica. The deck above you is erupting with people shouting, but the gunfire has like ceased. It's now getting quieter, and this is a dangerous part of the move.
So
I'm just going to come back to Nye before we do anything. Nye, Delvin has made it down the street, and you are now battling the crowds who are like trying to see what's going on, but also terribly afraid they're going to get shot. It's like this weird, morbid curiosity thing.
Yeah, no, I don't want anyone to get hurt because of my nonsense. I've done that too many times before, and it's bad. Okay, he needs to get out of this. He needs to get out of these clothes. Where is a place he can get out of clothes? Well, actually, it's. I mean, it is the day of debauchery or whatever. So could he just run around in his skivvies, just like his?
Well, you could have clothes on underneath it. There's no
Yeah.
law
Oh,
saying
that's a good point.
because remember you're a skinny
Terrorize.
chap and this guy's a professional
Oh.
guardsman, so
Yeah,
there's
Yeah,
no
that's,
reason
that's
why
a
you
free
couldn't
flashback, you know.
yeah,
have clothes.
yeah. Has other clothes. Yeah, so he'll do that. He'll just quickly be like, off. Okay.
I suppose if you wanted to really sow the seeds of chaos, you could like very drunkenly dress other people in your clothing. You know, oh, who wants a hat? And everyone's like,
no, because I feel like they would get retribution.
I was going to shoot one of them.
I wouldn't want that to happen. It's different when they're, like upper class twats. It's like, I don't mind if they get hurt. But I don't want these folk. They're just getting drunk and having fun.
Yeah, these are mainly stevedores and dock workers.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. So yeah, he's gonna just be like probably dressed a little bit like a dock worker then, or some type of
Yeah, I don't know
Worker.
that you need to roll for that. I think taking off clothing is a fairly standard action. Yeah, so you have lost them.
Okay.
We cut across to Aaron then. Leon has made you this excellent replica. You've just been handed it by Rufus. You were going to see how Rufus sequesters this Diamante ribcage away.
So he would just slide it up, gently roll it like the other one was rolling, and then use his tools to seal the compartment back up again.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I suppose because you're not putting it back on the stand, you're just getting it back on the
Yep, because it was rolling. So
it just sounds like a risky roll to me. Probably a prowl to do it quietly.
all right, let's do this. Okay, I am not pushing myself. I am at super high stress right now. Standard effect.
That's a great effect. It's bedlam up there.
Okay. Fours.
Yeah, it goes. It goes well. It goes up onto the deck. Everything's going well, but in absent-mindedness, you catch your hand in that. No, actually, you forget about the inner workings of the mechanism. So it goes up, and you lean back to go, nailed it, and elbow this machine that just clunks down, and you can fill out your level 1 harm.
Got it. That's fair.
So finally, over to Rufus. Ben, what's Rufus doing?
Right, chaps, what's the plan here? Am I running this thing straight over to our contacts to go, or am I waiting for the rest of you to catch up and we're going together?
You could have had like a pre.
That's what I'm
Determined
wondering.
location
Do we have a
Point. That would
Yeah.
make the most sense.
so we're
Yeah,
going to have
just
a
a-
rendezvous?
Yep.
Right, so we've picked a place to rendezvous. I'm going to take it to the rendezvous
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So
in a duffel bag.
we'll fade to black, and we'll cut up in quite like a well-to-do tavern in let me say Brightstone, in fact, where the parade ends. And the last person to arrive is Crackle, because he actually had to tow the the other float. Like eventually it all calmed down, and then all of a sudden you were holding a rope and you realize, oh, I actually yeah, and you had to go all the way to Brightstone because there was some damage to the inner working mechanism, something about a cloak. This float needs to be dragged all the way to Brightstone, and however, you have been floated in beers all the way here by the Mushroom Growers Guild, who have said you're the best Sparkrite assistant they've ever had.
Yeah.
And the rest of you are sitting at the table and you're just waiting for not George and not Jack to arrive.
Benjamin
With
and
this-
Benjamin.
Duffel bag. And after Crackle arrives, the two of them kind of saunter in, and they are steaming drunk. And they're like, our buddies, our friends, our very good working class friends. We are also working class. And they kind of walk over and they're like winking the whole time. So, let's be seeing it then.
Maybe not in the tavern common room.
Let's get it back
And he slides a coin onto the table. He's like, barkeep, back room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 ales. And they go into the back room with you, and it's like, it's Brightstone. It's a nice part of the world. This room is normally used for like games and cards and that kind of thing. It's it's a nice establishment, and the barkeep brings in a table full of booze and sits down, and he closes, and very distinctly you hear him clicking the door behind him. He knows what kind of thing goes on in these back rooms. And you're sitting around this like green felted table with this bag, and you start to unravel it. And the first thing is, it's like I guess it's a MacGuffin scene where the glowingness of this item appears. And how appropriate, my dog started growling. And in front of you, you see held in this cage these two lungs that are breathing. They're inflating and deflating, inflating and deflating. And you can even see the esophagus at the top opening and closing, opening and closing. There's no other device. Does anyone want to make a study to see? Or
Yeah, Crackle would.
yeah, for sure.
I'm very curious.
I think Delvin will have a crack at it.
Yeah, you can all try and interpret it.
Is this controlled, I presume? 'cause we're
Yeah,
not-
you're in a safe spot. Yeah, for sure.
Is it some sort of clockwork? Standard effect?
Yes, I'm gonna take back. It is risky, but don't worry about it. You'll maybe see it.
Oh, do you want me to cancel? I can redo it. I've
Yeah,
already done
I can redo it.
It doesn't matter either way. It's risky.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay, let me make it risky.
Yeah, I'll do that quickly. Risky, standard, no bonus dice. No, I have no fucking clue what this is.
Sorry, 2 seconds. Something's happening outside.
How appropriate. It's spookalicious.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
And floats just went past. There was a crash.
Something like that. It's like sounds
There's
like
someone
someone's.
screaming. Ah!
Sounds like someone on a megaphone. Okay, no bonus dice. Submit.
Hey,
All right.
So, Crackle, you're looking at it. You're looking for seams. You're looking for electricity. You're looking for wires, inner workings. And after a good 15 to 20 minutes of probing around, George and Jack's going, yeah, and like spattering you with beer, and it's just a set of lungs, and they're breathing.
Huh.
And Nye,
Yes,
you failed at this roll.
I did.
You touched it, and we'll kind of fade out of this. I think it's probably a good time to start rolling out the mystery. We'll get into downtime. Nye, as you're going to bed tonight, you hear. Doesn't go away.
Oh, poor Devlin. That's creepy.
That's that. Yeah, so that's really creepy.
Excellent. So we get to my favorite part of the whole game. The heist is great, but we get to downtime. So you've done you've stressed yourselves out. You've had a not very nice time, but you earned 12 coin, which is probably the most I've ever rewarded, but it's a one shot. Who cares? So you have 2 actions during downtime, and a coin can buy you an additional action. And the kind of actions you can do are try to like mitigate the stress you had or prepare for the next session. So you can do things like train and skills to go up a point. You can, see how it went. But the first thing we need to do before we do downtime is we look at an entanglement. And this is always a learning moment for everyone involved. So an entanglement is essentially, Duskwall is a really small city, and anything that happens is noticed to some extent. And now we get to see how much notice you drew upon your crew. So where are my lovely entanglement questions? Here we go. How would we describe our encounter? Smooth, quiet, and low exposure. Contained, standard exposure. Loud, chaotic, high exposure.
Yeah, that one.
Wild, devastating exposure.
I don't think it was devastating
wild.
exposure.
It was
chaotic.
devastating.
We never got clocked.
It was chaotic, yeah.
It was
I mean,
chaotic.
it's going to be in the news, like.
Yeah.
Great.
But we're nobodies, so it's not like we have a particular distinguishing mark or anything that we've left at the scene.
Well, we of course not that coin with a rook on it that's been popping up all over town.
Yeah,
I could be anybody.
Yeah.
But
Not that cloak that got stuck in the machine that your mum wrote your name in.
Oh no.
So we have 4 heat. We've gathered 4 heat so far, and then we have to ask the question: do we add 1 heat for a high-profile, well-connected target, like maybe a state religion? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we add 1 heat if the situation happened on hostile turf? It's not hostile turf. It's the docks. You have no connection. Were we at war with another faction? No, not so far. Was killing involved? We add 2 heat for that, and we add 2 heat per killing.
We didn't kill anyone
No one was killed. So we
that we're
got
aware
to
of.
5 heat. And what we do is, who would like to roll a dice for me?
Chuck and not.
Who's been
I'll do it.
rolling worst? They should roll this one.
Oh, me.
that's been nice.
Yeah, no.
9. A single d6, please.
Okay. It's just R1d6. Yeah, or do I
Yep.
need to?
Slash roll.
Slash roll.
Yeah.
Slash roll 1d6. Sorry.
No, that's my fault. I should. I.
We all agreed with you.
A 6.
Nice.
So
That's good, right?
if you turn to page 150 of your entanglement book,
Yeah.
you have in the heat
Show of force.
4 or 5 section, you have a show of force. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at what show of force is. And show of force is described as a faction with whom you have a negative status, makes a play against your holdings, give them 1 claim, or go to war with them and drop 3 status. If you've no claims, lose 1 hold instead. So this is kind of inconsequential to a gang such as yourselves, but perhaps what we're going to look at is the fact that it was very public when the night that you agreed to take 12 coin off 2 toffs. And also in the news, people are saying that a couple of days later, they found the iron lung is missing and this is a fake. It's stamped with a rook.
But then equally, a couple of days later, the iron lung would have turned up on the steps of the church. So
With a sorry note
Oh, I
on there.
figured the next heist was going to be us putting it back if we ever get to do a part 2.
Well, as far as your colleagues are convinced, it was put back because the fake was left. You know, they were So, but a faction in the city is going to know that you have 12 coin, which is quite frankly an obscene amount of coin to be carrying about your person. Each of you will need to carry 4 on your person, which is the equivalent of 4 lock boxes worth of gold. Which is insane. So some faction in the city, which we didn't decide who your enemies were, will try to have some reprisal against you at the end of this downtime. So let's see what you guys do to relieve stress before then. So Ben, what is your vice?
my vice is stupor.
And,
I go to the fighting pits and I punch and get punched by people.
Yes, I remember now. So how a vice roll works is, I'll explain it now. You clear stress equal to your highest die result. So you roll a dice equal to your lowest attribute rating. So if you look at your character sheet, and you have, let's say prowess, or you have insight, or actually on these character sheets there's a vice roll, I think, somewhere.
Yeah, there is. There's a button for
Indulge vice. Yeah, it'll roll it out for you and do all the maths. So you take the lowest and you clear that amount of stress from your character.
1 and 1.
Amazing. So you clear 1 stress, you're down to 2 stress. That's an action. Sorry, Ben, I chose your action for you there.
That is okay.
A good demonstration. Would anyone else like to make a vice roll? And what we'll do is we'll talk through what your vice is and how you indulge it.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Byron. No, you Byron. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Jackdaw is definitely going to try to indulge his vice.
You are stressed.
He is heavily stressed. And like I said at the beginning, his vice is weird as well, but weird in a different way than Devlin's. He goes to the hooded proprietor under the canals, and the hooded proprietor has access to the seams between the worlds. And so Jackdaw uses his stealth and his skills to sneak into these seams and try to break into places that people have not been or haven't been in centuries, in through the ghost veil perhaps, and then to get back out again. And that's how he relieves his stress.
Okay, so roll it and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, where is that? Where's that button?
It's underneath. If you look at your character sheet, it's
there
on
it
the
is.
left-hand side, yeah.
This is going to go bad. So I've got 1 die in resolve. So 2. Okay.
You're too stressed. So you head to the bridge, the under part of the city, and you meet the hooded proprietor. And while the hooded proprietor doesn't speak, they deal out tarot cards. And on the tarot cards, they're unlabeled. They just have pictures. There's several different pictures. There's a man hanging upside down by the foot. There's 2 swords, and there's a burning hedge. Which one do you choose?
So Jackdaw looks at the cards. He's like, after the day I've had, let's go with the burning hedge. I want to slide past that.
And it's almost as soon as you make contact with the card, you're between where you are now and you're there. You can feel yourself standing under the bridge, but you can also feel you're in a different part of the history of Duskwall. You're witnessing the cataclysm and you're seeing parts of the city fall around you. And the enjoyment you're getting is because you can't be hurt. You're timing yourself to dodge out of the way of these building blocks and witness the explosions around you, feeling the heat, but standing just so far away that you get all the thrill, but none of the rush. And an hour or 2 passes and you wake up sitting under the bridge with a burnt out tarot card, just the stub of a card in your hand.
He smiles, slides a coin over to the hidden proprietor and says, "Give me another card. Random. I don't care. I got to see more."
Okay, hang on a sec. Let's see how it goes. Make me a vice roll. Looking for a 6 here.
3. Okay, he's feeling better now.
Yeah. So sorry, I'm after closing Zoom. He smiles. You can just tell by his general demeanor. No one ever asked for a random card, and he shuffles and he deals out 3, backs up, and as you go to reach out, he moves them around and sits back, and your hand touches one, and you're alert, and you're in this museum, and you have perpetrated the perfect heist. You can see the hole in the ceiling you've cut, and you can see all the actual tripwires that have been stretched that you haven't triggered, and in front of you is like a hand missing 2 fingers, which is in the Garblag expansion for this month to patrons only. But you really get a great feeling of I've achieved such a great heist and my prowess to get down here, and you feel all the mirth of this person, and you also feel all the fear and the adrenaline. You're back and you feel so revitalized, and so much has come out of you. But when you awake, he's gone. He's totally gone, and the cards are all gone. There's actually no evidence that any of this ever happened.
He smiles, tips his hat. The shadow rolls around his face and then rolls down his arms, and starts whistling and heading back towards our hideout.
Cool. Now, I love your voice. Let's see how you get on with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll roll indulge dice, then we can go through it. The bonus dice, a 4 and a 6.
So you have 4 stress. You take the lowest dice, which is amazing because you've perfectly cleared your dice. So it's like it's an uncharacteristically unrainy night when you go out.
Oh, that's good.
You know, and you're standing in the corner taking notes of this particular grotesque. Not quite a gargoyle, a grotesque. You know, gargoyles are for guttering, grotesques are for show. And a guy comes up and he's like, "You want to see something really fucked up, then?"
I mean, yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Oh, yeah. I can see you're a discerning gentleman. And he like leads you into the church, and it's not quite a church. It's like an old deconsecrated building. It's now being used as a squat over in Charter Hall, and he like nods to the guy, you know, the big guy who's in charge of security. And goes, "Oh, Stephen," and just, you know, and he brings you up this like winding staircase where every 4th or 5th step is missing, and it's getting more and more dangerous. And you get up to the top, and you're looking down, and you realize the grotesques that are only like that look down to the street actually have several figures carved on their backs. So they're different grotesques from above. And this one in particular has like faces all the way around in 360 degrees. It's got like 4 or 5 faces. And he's like, "That keeps me up at night." Yeah.
Yeah,
Loads of them all over the city.
I know. They're amazing. Like terrifying, but amazing. Yeah. He's like,
And then he gives you the list of 2 other places you should check out because you've just cleared all your stress. You've had the best night of your life.
yay. I like the idea that he actually thinks they're quite beautiful. And everyone else is like, yeah.
They're so sinister to everyone else. Yeah.
Awesome.
Leon, how many stress has your character got?
2.
2. So you can choose whether or not to clear it off for the next dice. You can overindulge, which is where you roll above your stress level.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna indulge. I don't think I need to overindulge.
If
You don't get a choice. Overindulging
so if you-
might happen.
If you roll anything above a 2,
Yeah.
you will overindulge.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's fine. I think that's very in keeping with my character. So my vice is stupor. So he works with chemicals and he hangs out with his apothecary friend, and they basically they've taken so many hits from different chemicals and stuff at the time. They built up a lot of immunity to a lot of regular sort of alcohol
Right,
and
yeah,
things. So
yeah.
they basically just mix really potent chemicals in buckets and kind of inhale them or drink oil or just to see what kind of high they can chase.
I cannot wait to see where this goes.
So okay, and I just roll off of indulge vice on my sheet.
Yeah,
you
just hit the
indulge
button.
vice, and it does it for you. It
Oh,
comes
yeah,
a
I've got to
6.
go back to my other sheet. Bonus dice. No bonus dice. No.
No bonus dice.
Just submit.
Oh wow, you are
5.
out of your gourd.
So you go to your regular spot, and you know it's a good spot because there's an iron door with a slider, and the door slides open, and they're like, "All right, crackle," and then it slides closed, and it's opened, and you're greeted by Simon inside the door, and he's like, "You heading in then?" And the boys been having a big night already.
And I'm clinking because I've got bought my own bottles of stuff.
You're just clinking as and he locks the door behind you and slides the shutter, and then he opens a second steel door, and you're like shown into the basement of this building, where there's like 5 or 6 different people, men and women. They're all like crackle, and they're clearly scuzzed out of their minds. You know, one of them is shouting crackle while looking at the curtains. And what is your apothecary friend's name?
Stasia,
Stasia, is it?
Stasia, yep.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say you should have snap and pop as well.
Stasia's like, crackle, you must try this. It has demons in it. Actual demons.
Yeah, right.
And now we'll talk about overindulgence. That's the last thing Crackle remembers. So you get to choose. You can attract trouble to the gang with your antics. You can brag about your exploits and add 2 heat to your next engagement.
I'm going to be bragging about my exploits if I put a little rook on the lungs. That's an amazing heist we just pulled.
You can get lost and you just play another character for the next few weeks. Or you can be tapped. You were so out of line that your current vice purveyor cuts you off.
Oh, lost sounds interesting for just indulging that much in chemicals. I'm just AWOL for a while. I think
the next day all there is a pair of boots.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with lost. I think that makes more sense for the amount of indulgence I've done. Just sometimes you just don't turn up.
So we'll deal you back in if we're playing another game. But you wake up on the shores of the docks, wearing a dress, and you've shaved half of your head, and you can't get this song out of your head that goes punch myself in the face. No, your shoes. And the dog loves it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a typical kind of downtime. Now, other than indulging vices, generally we have long-term projects. So when we build complex characters for a story, we try and make sure that they're all working towards something. At the moment, we're doing a one-shot, so we're not going to worry about that too much. But we have a load of coin to spend, and it might be interesting for the last 5 or 6 minutes, because I like to keep these things to about 2 hours, and I think we're just at the 2 hour mark. And if we look at our layer, so let me get it for now. Sorry.
I'm going to spend my second downtime action on training, I think. So I'm just going to mark a point of training there.
The other thing you can do is, you can spend a downtime action on training and just click. If you roll it in, I think it's prowess for your gang, you get 2 points.
I was putting it in. I was going to put it in insight, but if I can do that, then I will do it in prowess. So what do I do?
Prowess.
Just click on prowess.
2.
Yeah, 2.
Or just click on it twice. Okay, cool.
Click on it twice. Yeah. So you guys are in shadows. So page 116. Highly recommend this book. It's like that size. It's the best. Mine is dog-eared and everything. It's a really good book. It gives you just enough information and not a whole lot. So everyone's view of Discworld is way different. But yeah, you can look at spending coin to upgrade your hideout. And you can look at, sorry, the dogs are going nuts. Maybe now is a good time to call it. You can look at developing things and like spending it to get better gear. Or you can spend coin to get extra downtime activities. Maybe you're going to go try and find some more patrons. Maybe you're going to go and try and see how things go. But I think other than that, what an excellent heist, guys. I think Leon said it all from, we're actually doing this right now. First time I ever played Blades, I had that exact same experience. We're in the police station. So thanks so much to everyone who played. Ben,
thank
you, Josh.
Thanks,
Josh. It was amazing.
And say, always a pleasure. And hopefully we can get a proper game of Blades going at some point with some consistent players.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see the ins and outs of the game.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out, I said, who's up for Blades? And 17 minutes later, Aaron had a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah.
With art.
That isn't my nature.
Yeah, I'm
Excellent.
always impressed with how fast you can put together. Okay, and also with a really good story as well. It's not even just like, I'm Dobbin Bud and I steal from rich people and give it to poor people. Like, no.
I'm literally called Delvin Schmelvin.
Schmelvin here.
Like, that's not an alias.
I haven't even checked the Twitch. If anyone's still watching, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, there are still people watching.
Ben has lots of lovely things to say about
I don't have lots. I have a few little lovely things. Hello, thank you very much. Don't forget Discord, Patreon, all that good stuff. Patreons are getting the Gartopia magazine imminently. It's on the cards to roll out, and we're already planning the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th ones, I believe, based on current voting trends. Join us next week when we have got more games. We're hoping to get back to our regular schedule next week. Things are a little bit crazy in Garblag Central right now. Everybody's moving house and changing jobs, and all sorts of varying shenanigans like that. So we're hoping to get back to our regular schedule. If we do, it's Coriolis on Tuesday. It's Wrath and Glory on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's Thursday is Cyberpunk Red, and it's Starfinder in North America
Yes, it is.
in the evening. And Friday next week is something. Might be Monster of the Week. It might not.
I think Matt was
Oh, no, it's
talking
Marvel
today
next
about
week.
Marvel.
It is,
Yeah,
it's Marvel next
playing some
week.
Marvel again.
And did anyone else notice Ben keeping the Marvel theme going with his name? Because he's got Ben Grimm on screen, which is
Yeah.
a lovable blue-eyed
I
thing.
didn't notice that, but thanks. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure and a privilege sharing this garblagging week with you. And we will see you more next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.